Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about how to layer the back of your hair, which is probably the biggest challenge there is when cutting your hair at home. And this is what I want to do and kind of explain to you. So first thing is, if you're doing this yourself and you've already, accomplished cutting the top layers, which I do have a video on here on YouTube, how to cut layers at home, you've pretty much taken care of the front, right? The front half of the head. All this is done, right? The sides, because when you're cutting hair at home especially, you have to really break down and separate the front from the back. And how do you do that? Well, you just basically create a parting between, behind the ear, the top of the head right here, anything behind the ear, right, coming back this way is going to be considered like the back of the head, which is fairly difficult, to be honest with you, when you're trying to do this at home. However, I'm going to attempt to help you with this. So the first thing, if your hair is still damp, just make sure your hair is damp. You can, go over the spray bottle or something, but you want to make sure the hair is fairly damp. This is a vent brush. I sell these vent brushes on my website, shop.TheSalonGuy.com. I also have these hair clips that you see in through here that I sell on my website. I think it's like a 6-pack. They're like professional hair clips. So you could use those to section the hair out of the way. You need these if you're doing hair yourself. Also this brush, okay? This is really gonna be helpful when you're combing through, because using a vent brush, it's gonna allow you to kind of easily glide through the hair. If you go in with like a hair cutting comb, which I also sell hair cutting combs on my site too, it may cause a lot of knots, especially if it's not combed out properly. You have to make sure the hair is tangled and knot free, all right? You could also use some of my 25 spray to spray in the hair. It's an amazing detangler. So I use that too when cutting. I spray it in and it just helps glide right through the hair. So what we have to do now is take a section that is basically gonna have a guide, or which is some of the top. This is in the front, this is the top right here, the top back with this part. Now, what do? So, you're gonna have to take, it's gonna look something like this. If you're gonna use your hair cutting comb, it's gonna be basically you taking like a sliver of hair, almost like the tip of the comb here is a pencil, and what you're going to do is you're going to just feel where the top of your head is, and you're going to slide right across. Now what's gonna happen is it may get tangled, but you keep doing it, and you just basically feel like you're sliding across the point of the comb. If this was like a pencil or a pen or something, or a ruler, and you're just gonna try to create a straight line as best you can. Then what you can do is comb the hair straight up like this, or from behind. And then you're gonna make sure you grab that hair. You're gonna be like this, and you're gonna grab it and hold on with your fingers. That's the key, is grabbing that hair and keeping it with the fingers this way. So what's gonna happen is then, when you comb all this hair straight up, you're gonna see the guide, or this previous section that you cut, and that is what you're going to cut the hair to. So you're gonna comb straight up, and you're gonna use your fingers like this to hold on to the hair. Once you have this grasp on this section, do not let it go. And you want to put the hair in your fingers like this. And you're going to hold it all the way straight up, and whatever section you see underneath, which is your guide, that's what you're going to cut the hair to. And you're going to hold that all the way straight up. Whoop. You're going to hold that straight up. Oh, excuse me. And trying to do this is getting a little, this angle is throwing me off. Then what you want to do is take another sliver right across, and you're going to hold on to this hair with the opposite hand. You want to always make sure you have this hair in your hand in this section. That's what's most important. Okay, then you're going to hold on and you're going to comb. As you comb, grab the bottom of that hair so you don't lose that section. Okay, you're going to comb it up again. You're going to comb it, make sure you have it. Then you're going to lock the fingers in and slide the fingers straight up like this, and you're going to see the guide underneath, right? It's going to be in front of you, and you're gonna hold it straight up like this, and you're gonna cut. Hold on to this, okay? You always wanna keep holding on to that section. Then what's gonna happen is the hair is gonna get fairly wide. So you're gonna have to split the hair in half and focus on one panel of the back of your head, then the other, or left or right, right or left, whatever. So then what you're gonna do is take a sliver just in this one section, and you can use your thumb as a reference point by placing it right here. And that's where you create that section to. Again, taking the point of the comb and just sliding it straight across. Now we're gonna grab and hold on to this section like we just talked about. Comb it straight up like this. Straight up, you're gonna see the guide, right? That's the shorter piece that you just cut. You're gonna see all that longer hair, and you're cutting that to that guide. Hold on to that, let that go, then take the section right next to it on the opposite side. Grab the hair while you're combing so you have that section, and you're gonna comb straight up. Now if you use the fine teeth of the comb, which is the closer teeth right in through here, you're gonna get a tighter section. And if you use the wide teeth, the section is going to be a bit looser. So it's gonna be maybe a little bit softer. So we're gonna comb this straight up. There's the section right there from before, and we're gonna cut, and you're gonna cut straight up like that. Now, what you're going to do is you're gonna continue to do this throughout the entire back of the head until you run out of hair. And if you have to, if the hair gets pretty heavy down through here, you may end up having to switch to this vent brush, believe it or not, because the vent brush is gonna really help get all of that hair, okay? And you can comb it straight up like this, get all those knots out, and you're gonna grab the hair as soon as you can, and you're gonna pull and comb and brush all the way straight up to get all those knots out. Make sure you grab that whole section right there and you hold on to it. Okay, then we're gonna grab this hair, we're gonna comb straight up, and we're gonna be able to pull this from this section and glide the hands up, and you're gonna see probably not that much hair, to be honest with you, because the more you come down to the bottom, it's all gonna blend into itself. So then you wanna check for the other side, and then you can comb all the hair down, and you're gonna have a balanced, layered haircut throughout the back, as you can see here. Now what this does, however, by bringing this hair all the way up like that, it actually removes a lot of weight as well. Now you may not be getting rid of a lot of the weight down into the bottom because you're taking the bottom and bringing it all the way up. However, it's gonna keep your layers very blended and a lot softer. So if you're looking to get rid of some excess weight and you wanna have a little more flow and more layers to it, especially if you have maybe curlier hair or wavier hair, you can see it through here. It's got really nice movement and texture and shape. Let's get a little closer here. All this in through here, you can see how it has that flow, and there's no harsh lines or anything. You know, so after you're done doing that, you should be able to comb all the hair down. You can even use this same brush, and you can brush this all through. And what you want to do, just to make sure, is one final check. And you can bring this hair, I'm going to bring this back a little bit here, so lower it. What you can do is you can take this comb right in through here, or this brush, or even go back and get the hair cutting comb. But just make sure, the only reason I use this is to make sure all the knots are out, right? Make sure all those knots are out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my comb. I'm going to use the fine teeth right here. And I'm going to comb this up, and this is what you should do. Take this section of hair, and you're going to bring it to kind of like the top half. So you're going back into the front here, right in through here. You're actually kind of crossing over. And what that's going to do is that is going to make sure that you can see that the hair is going to be connected, right? So we're going to bring this straight up like that. And you're going to do that, same thing, and you're going to cut straight across to make sure that these sections are connected once again, all right? But you have to be very careful because you don't want to chomp hair that doesn't need to come off, because if you do, you're going to have a harsh line in through here. And right now, because we've already blended all this, there's no lines. It's a seamless layer. But if you just take a piece like this and chop it across and it's not blended or it's not part of the guide from before, you're gonna have a harsh line into here. Okay, so that's the one thing, is you need to match this up to the front. And typically the hair is gonna be a little bit shorter in the front, working towards the back. But all of this, from this point here on the top of the head, needs to be connected. If you don't connect it, then the hair is gonna be very choppy. It's gonna be kind of a mess. Now, the final way to check all this and make sure it's balanced, again, this vent brush right here, it's got a rubber grip on it. That's why I love this brush so much. A firm rubber grip so you have a good hold on it, good control. It's also anti-static. What you can do is, once again, make sure all of this is combed out. And if at any point you need to check your layers and you want to make sure it's all balanced, just comb all of this hair going upwards, right? Comb all of it going upwards, even the corner in through here, right? Comb all of this coming up this way. And just make sure that you are not cutting off any of the hair that's far on the outside and through here, because that's the length. Okay, when you are layering hair, this is how sometimes, you know, professionals create holes in the head and all sorts of messed up things, or holes in the hair towards the bottom and through here. It's simply because of the way it's being held. So you have to make sure that you are not cutting the foundation, right? Let that hair drop down. If you comb this all up like this and you see a bunch of hair just fall down, you know, let the hair fall down, but also bring it all the way up as much as you can. Whatever's gonna fall is gonna fall, doesn't need to be cut then, and you're gonna cut right on top of that, and you can see everything falls on top of each other. Then you should be good to go. Again, I have a video on how to cut layers at home. I talk more about the front. I try to go over the back, but I figured I get so many people that are questioning and asking, you know, salon guy, how do I cut the back? It's impossible to cut the back at home. Well, this is the only way I can describe it. And if you're, you know, depending on the length of hair, this is obviously a longer, somewhat hairstyle. So especially if you're female or you have a more feminine style of haircut that needs layers and things like that, and your hair's a lot longer, this is perfect for that. If your hair's a little bit shorter, it's the same concept. However, it really depends on the style that you have and the shape you're going for. But it's just the same, could be the same technique, just a lot shorter, right? Depending on the kind of look that you have. So just to know that the shorter this is, you know, it may end up, you have to be really careful of how short you want your layers. All right, because this could end up looking a bit kind of mullet-ish or very, very feathered and layered on top, which could work okay. But the longer you pull this up, the more and shorter you cut it, it's going to be short here and long here. So you have to really, really make sure it's all balanced. If you are interested in purchasing any of my hair tools, you know, this is my brush right here, the Ionic and ceramic round brush. I have one in a 2.5 inch size and one in a 2 inch size right here. I also, you know, I have the vent brushes here. I have my own cutting combs. I've got the clips, blow dryers. I even have scissors right here. So, I mean, all of it basically is available. And make sure you use code YouTube20. That's YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com. And please let me know if you found this video helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.